So as I told you in the previous slides, digital divide somehow is happening, and then we cannot say all of us access to the information are equals. Wherever you are in different country or wherever you are in the same country, but in different age group or using different social media, you have difference between different methods to access to the information, and this is called the um, digital device. Okay, digital device is happening especially in the industrialized and also between the developing country. So that means for the developed country or industrialized country or urbanizations the country, their infrastructure is better, and then also the method or the way that the citizens can access to the informations are much more easier. Okay, and then the digital device is happening between those peoples who is in the developed country who is really rich and those people who are in the developed country and poor. Okay, so this is creating an impact for it. So clearly, poor community have low access to the computer and then technology. So and this is one of the cause of the digital device. Okay. And then there are lots of different statements to say that the ICT is useful or not. Okay, some people say that it's useful. Some people say that it's not it's wasting the money. Okay, it's wasting the money. Just buying the computer, they are not environmental friendly, and then you are upgrading or you are keep changing your smartphones. Okay, so it's wasting of the money. So many years ago, we have a mobile phone, and then the mobile phone. I'm sorry, the mobile phone can be used 2 or 3 years. But nowadays, for you, when you are using a smartphone, and most of you guys just change your smartphone each year. So it's kind of some people say it's kind of wasting money, and this kind of money should be direct to more important area of impact and the real need. For example, yeah, easy to understand is food and also the medicines, especially in the COVID-19, right? So in the COVID-19, so definitely you want the medicines, you want the mask compared with you want the smartphone. But some of the people, especially in the case of Taiwan, right? They even in China, they try to prove that the ICT they can do loss in during the COVID-19. For example, they have the I can say green health codes, and also in Taiwan they have another lots of the application to monitor the distribution of the mass and then to communicate with each other. So ICT is really doing something. So beside the food and also beside the medicine, in my point of view, ICT can also have a key elements or key components inside our society. Not they are not wasting the money. Okay, they are not wasting the money. And then ICT, yeah, some people say that yes, it opened the people, but it also opened the people up to a new forms of terms. Okay, for example, inside the ICT, by using the social media or Facebook, there are lots of new terms and also of the lots of the new forms of the crimes related to ICT award. Okay. So I teach another subject which is ethics, and then we talk about ICT could really increase the crime rate or not, okay, or not. So I don't want to spend a lot of the time here to discuss. So if you are interested in this case, so you can ask me. I have all the record video, and then you can watch the videos and then say that. But in short, I would like to say that yes, ICT creates some new forms of the crimes or crisis for our human lives, but it also create our minds and then connect with other people to try to solve this kind of problems. Okay, so you connect with the other peoples, and then if all of us are evil, so ICT definitely it turns to into a evil tools, right? But somehow, if most of us is planning to doing some good things, is planning to do some interesting exercise, so ICT is really helping us to connect with each other and then create something new, create something good for us. Now the situation is better, but very honestly, before the year 2000, the ICT haven't been mentioned or promote. Okay, haven't been mentioned of promote. The digital divide haven't been mentioned and promote before year 2000. And After year 2000, the situation is better because some of us have the awareness about the globalizations, about the problem of ICT, and then we start to do something to change the world. Okay, and honestly, ICT can support both social and economic goals. Okay, so we'll discuss later, and improve our people life. Okay, so in this service learning project, so you are able, or you should, okay, you should use some of the ICT sorry, some of the ICT applications, and then try to improve the people life, and then create something good for the other peoples, which can benefit to to the whole society, benefit the whole society growth. Okay. And yeah, access to the ICT, definitely they have far benefits than without accessing to the ICT. So this is how we can go. Otherwise, we just stop all our technological, and then we come back to the cave and become the caveman. ICT, they have or technologists, they have their power to changing the world. So we guys, of course, they also bring the problems, but we guys should handles, or we should try to control this kind of management, so that we can, all of us can be benefit from this kind of tools, and then we will not let the elderly, or let the poor or other underprivileged group behind this kind of technology, behind the ICT. With accessing to ICT, definitely they provide the opportunity and the social mobility. So somehow when you know how to use the ICT, and then you can achieve the information, so definitely you can have a better understanding of the knowledge, and then you can have different points of view from the expert all over the world. Okay. Today, there are lots of different platforms to help you to connect with others. Social media is one of them, and then you also have the Kickstarter, and then you also have lots of the platform, which when you have some brilliant ideas, it's easy to connect with the people in all over the world, and then you can create something. And definitely, if there are someone can give you the funding, can give you the money to achieve your goal, okay, to make your dream come true. So it's quite important. And while you have the knowledge, so you have the power to move, okay, to move upstairs, or to improve your life, okay, and also improve your social positions over the time. So the access to the ICT definitely is one of the starting point of how you can improve your social position and improve your life, wherever you are in the developing country, or wherever you are the maybe an elderly or the SEN student. When you have the ability to access to the technologies, you have a better chance, or you have larger chance to improve your life. Later we will have different kinds of global culture, and then say what's going on with the other people using ICT to improve their life, to improve their social life, improve their social positions. Okay. And then there are different forms of the digital divide. Okay, so for your easy understanding, so we divide them into three. The first one is economic. Second one is usability. The third one is empowerment divide. For the economics divide, for the easy understanding is yeah, you have enough money or not. So if you have enough money, so you can purchase the computer, you can purchase the broadband, you can purchase the all the ICT equipment that you need. Okay, so this economics divide is talking about how you can support, or we say that support the money for them to purchase the ICT service, and also the ICT hardware. So in our course, definitely this one will not be considered, because we are not asking you to give the money to the SEN student, or to the other people, right? So most likely this part is cared by the government, or the policy makers. So they have some funding to support the schools, to support the low-income family or underprivileged group to access to the internet, and also to buy the computer. The second one is usability device. So most likely in our class we will talk about this one. This one, usability device, is say that you are able to use the digital content or not. Okay, able to use the digital content or not. So most likely it care about the physical or mental disabled. Okay, for example, there are lots of iPad, there are lots of the um, um, smart device, smartphone, etc. Right? So do you have the power? For example, if you are blind people, do you have the power to access to this electronic device? Or if in our case we are talking about the SEN, right? So they have lots of different problems in next PowerPoint slide. In next video, we will talk about the physical problem, mental problems, and other. So the SEN student, do they have the ability to control, for example, the small muscle to control and kick the iPad, to kick the smart device, or do they have the ability to IQ or IQ level to understand your meaning and somehow interact with your product? So this kind is called usability device. Okay. So in short, if you have the physical problem, so the usability device, you can say that is hard to use. Okay, but if you have some mental problem, so somehow they will cause the digital content is hard to understand. Okay, hard to understand. So in both cases, we need to care, and then in your reflective journal, most likely you can focus or target on the usability device. This part. So this is really important in our course. And then the third one will be empowerment. Okay, empowerment device here. Okay, that means that you have the ability to create the content or not. Okay, to produce the digital content or not. Okay, so today there are lots of the platform, and then most of the platforms they support the video, they support the text, they support the photos, right? So you can create lots of digital content. Okay. So some of you guys are CD-ROM, right? So you are read only, and then somehow you will not create the content. But with the power to create lots of the digital content, and then with the power to understand the algorithms of the searching engine or some other algorithm of YouTube or Facebook or other things, right? So they have the power to produce the digital content and then distribute or deliver this digital content to the others. Okay, so the device, the gap between the empowerment of digital device is quite complicated. Of course, in this course, you can touch a little bit, right? For example, whether Ocean Path or whether the content provider, they have the ability, okay, they have the ability to distribute the digital content or not. Okay, so if they do not have the ability to distribute the digital content to the SEN student, so can we fill up this gap and then create some products for them? So this is one of the interesting elements in our course, right? But most likely this one is cared by lots of the bigger issue. For example, whether you have the mechanism or whether we have the robot to generate digital content. So today you have lots of the things called content farms, right? So this kind of content farm is kinds of the technologies or kinds of the ICT, which is increasing the gap between for those people who can produce the digital content, and for those people just like the individual who cannot produce lots of the digital content and then communicate with others. While you are creating lots of the digital content, so somehow in this information age, so you are different. You are different the thinking of the other people. So somehow you have the power to control the others. But if you cannot, create a digital content, and then you are a small individual, and then cannot bring the awareness of the other, so somehow you are also underprivileged group, and then you are also suffer from the gaps of the empowerment divide. So for the usability divide that we have talked about is about the physical ability and also the mental ability, right, to access to the information on the web. Okay, so one of the interesting points about the usability device is about the web accessibility. Okay, web accessibility. So in Hong Kong, most of our IT scheme is controlled by the OGCL, OGCL. Okay, OGCL. They define lots of the way for you to access to the information. So they define lots of the standards, and they redefine lots of the standard. And then if your project is good enough, so somehow you can apply the fundings of the digital device, okay, or digital inclusions of OGCRO. So exactly remember they can give you 50,000 or up to 100,000 to support your applications, and then further extend to the other. So this is how the OGCIO is supporting the digital divide, okay, improving the problem of digital divide in Hong Kong. So one of their scheme is called web accessibility. Okay, web accessibility. So that means that when you create a website, so there is a system, or they have some guidelines, and then if you follow their guidelines, so somehow you can let as many people you can to access to the internet. For example, with the elderly, for example, with the colorblind, for example, with some of the blind people, they can still enjoy or retrieve the information of your website. Okay, so if you want to know more, so you can go to this website. Yeah, and then whether chat with the standard. Okay, you can also go to the web accessibility of OGCL and then chat with the standard. Okay. So yeah, one beside the old people, beside the blind people. So one of the good example about the web accessibility is about the colorblind. Okay, so for the colorblind, you can go to this website. Okay, this website. So yeah, we guys man are not very good or not very sensitive to the color. So 8% of the male they are colorblind, and only 1% of female they are colorblind. So if you access to the websites and then you create by lots of the color, so definitely create problems for the colorblind people. So go to this website and then you can check whether your website can fulfill the needs or not. So if you have the colorblind, our computing websites will be appear something like that. Okay. So yeah, I guess you can pause this video again and then spend around 1 to 2 minutes to visit to the website and then check whether whether your website or whether some of the websites have care about the web accessibility. So here are the United Nations Millennium Development Goal. Yeah, Millennium. So it has been 20 years, and then it's similar to when you are a baby, and then the Millennium Goal here, and up to now, up to 20 years, it haven't been 100% finished. Okay, but still, there are lots of the area has been improved. Although when you reading this 8 Millennium Goal, and then there are nothing related to ICT, but ICT could help this kind of goal, and then let us with some of them and see how the ICT can be achieved or how to improve the Millennium Goal. Okay, the first one, the easiest understanding about the ICT, the direct, okay, the direct way how the ICT and the Millennium Goal can be linked together is to develop a global partnership for development. So you may think that global partnership may be related to the high level ones, so maybe related to the country to country, and then maybe related to some even or big organization to big organization, but in fact it's not about that. So under the Millennium Goal there are lots of targets, and then under the targets there are lots of indicators. Okay, so some of the indicator can be easy approved. For example, the telephone lines and then the single subscriber per 100% per 100 populations. Okay, so this kind is about how the people are connected. Of course, yeah, it has been achieved, and then this goal has been further replaced by the internet and also the connection of the internet user. And yeah, it's how the ICT could help, and then how the ICT can use the hardware, can use the line, can use the network to connect with each other in our physical world. And another indicator, of course, is about the is about the technology, is about hardware. So it's about the personal computer in use per 100 populations, and the internet user per 100 populations. Okay, so it's close. Now it's close to achieve this kind of goal, and then maybe 1 or 2 years later, maybe 3. Okay, maybe 2 or 3 years later, so this kind of goals could be 100% fulfilled. Okay. And also for the goal one, for example, how to improve the hunger and also the poor, okay, extreme poor. So in fact, the ICT award we have to improve the situations of the poor. So for a easy understanding, I use Taobao as an example. Okay, Taobao. So Taobao, you think that yeah, it's from the China market, and then it helps the people in Hong Kong to buy the cheap goods in a very cheap price, right? But you can imagine that there are lots of village in Taobao in China. They are using Taobao to improve their life, okay, to improve their quality of life, okay. So you have heard that in China there are lots of the village. They will set up some small business and then they will prepare some uh, handcraft of artcraft. Okay, so they are called artcraft peoples, and then now the artcraft here can directly sells to the customer. Okay, directly sells to the customer. That's why they need not to use the middleman, and then they can direct communicate with the customer. And then Taobao is acceptable. I will say the transaction fee of Taobao is acceptable, and that it will improve the uh, um, living conditions of China, especially about the poor rich. So this is how the ICT can help the one of the Millennium's goal to improve the situations of the poor. And other things you will think that something like the Uber Eats or something like the Food Panda in China, they also have this kinds of technologies. They also have the food delivery or some of the delivery service. And this delivery service again, it helps lots of the people to improve their life. Again, this is how the ICT can be done in can be helped to improve the Millennium goal. Similar in Hong Kong, right? So you have the Food Panda and you have the delivery, etc. Right? And during the COVID-19, it really helps the other peoples, and then especially about the unemployment or underemployment, right? To earn their basic living. Okay, but some of them say that they can earn up to 30,000 yeah, per month. So this quite incredible, right? So here we have a small questions for you, and then it's about the goals two. It's about the educations. Okay, and of course it's about the gender equality. So in Africa, for example, Rwanda. So there are lots of the school or university. They do not have enough teaching materials. Okay, so they do not have books. They do not have um, um, important or up to date teaching materials or teaching and learning materials. Okay, so ICT can do a lot of things. So before the ICT, so somehow the peoples in the Western country, they will collect the logs. Okay, they will collect the logs. There are lots of logs, and then just like you, right? So you have lots of the printout, and after the examination, most of you guys will just follow the printout, right? Um, so what can they do, or what can the education can be improved in Africa? So some of the university, they will collect the printout. Okay, they will collect the printout after the examinations, and then send this printout to the University of Africa, so that their teacher and learning material is up to date, and then they can enjoy the education of the Western, okay, of the Western. Um, so I will not say that this one is perfect, okay? So it's not perfect, yeah, it's not perfect, but somehow it can help the situations. Now you are studying technologies beyond border, and then you are thinking how to use the ICT, okay, how to use the ICT to help this kind of people in Africa, okay? So sending the printout or hard copy, it creates lots of environmental problems. For example, the digital footprint, etc. So can you use the ICT? Okay, can you use the ICT to improve these situations? Okay, or how we can send the teacher and learning materials to the Africa without a, how to say that, without increasing the high digital footprint. Okay, So I will give you 15 minutes to do it, so you can pause the videos and then think about your solutions. But bear into your mind, so you need to consider the situations of Africa. So exactly, we have mentioned before, the internet rate or the internet visual rate is below 50. Okay, it's below 50. Some of the country in the Middle Africa still is around 10 or below 20, something like that. Okay, so you need to, when you are thinking the ICT solutions, okay, ICT solutions, you need to think about the infrastructure of the people in Africa. Okay, so around 15 minutes, so you can pause the videos and then think 15 minutes how we can improve. So have you paused the video and then think for 15 minutes? If yes, then let's discuss the answer. So I will not use the case of Africa, I will use the case of India and then discuss the situation. In fact, the Indians, they have the similar situations. They have larger populations and then the GDP is not really high and then the urbanizations and is not really good. And then there are still lots of poor peoples and then lots of the people in India, they cannot enjoy the PC personal computer, they cannot enjoy the computer and then they cannot enjoy the internet, enjoy the dot dot dot. So what you should do, so the first of all, you should think about the situations. Okay, so if they do not have the PC, if they do not have the internet, so what should you do? So some people will say that yeah, some of the Western people, because they do not have the concept about the India or Africa, they will say yeah, pinning the pin out to this area is the most direct and then the most useful method to improve their education. But in fact, it's not so worse, right? So they are not cavemen. So somehow they have the basic, at least they have the electricity. Some of there are still some area they do not have the electricity, but there are lots of the area they have the electricity, and then they have TV. Okay, they have TV. Okay, and somehow if they cannot offer for the PC, but still they can have the DVD or the Blu-ray. Okay, or the Blu-ray player. So it's similar to the how to say that? It's similar to the family in Hong Kong around 1980. Okay, around 1980, 1970 to 1980. You have the TV, you have the recorder. Okay, you have the recorder. You can enjoy some of the video playback, something like that. Okay, so if they have the TV and then they have the DVD, so it provides another way to distribute the education. So somehow you can make a good use of DVD. So some of the people may say that, oh, it's good. So somehow I can video record all the informations and then send to the school in Africa and India. But you will think you need to think a lot of the problems. The first of the problem is although if DVD or VCD, so the length or the time that they be carried inside the DVD or VCD is limited. Okay, so most likely is 1 or 2 hours, less than a lecture, 3-hour lecture, right? So if you want to bring back all the information to them, so you need a huge lots of the DVD and then send to them. Then they need to pay one by one, and then they need to follow. Okay, and reading the videos is not quite effective. Maybe yeah, although they are speaking English, but there are lots of problem. You cannot clearly understand the English that they are using, something like that. Okay. So what is the project of I'm going to talk about is called the Wikipedia. Okay, India Wikipedia. So what's going on? So somehow they turn the information into a forms just like the Wikipedia, and then using the menu function or index function of DVD. So somehow using the menu function or index function of DVD, so you can use your remote and then use your up, right, left, down, and then select and then back. Yeah, you can use this kind of function and then select the information that you want, and then you can also type in the information and then perform the search. Okay, And one DVD can carry lots of the text and image information and then send back. Okay, so that's how, for example, they can carry a whole subject, or even more than a whole subject. They can carry the for example, the whole program. Okay, the whole program, the whole academic program in one DVD, and then send to Africa or send to the India, and then let them to use or let them to learn. So this is one of the good use of the ICT, and then perform the community project. Okay. So this the demonstration about India Wikipedia. So you see this one is the index page, and then you can use your DVD remote and then select for the topic. Okay, for example, you can search, you can use the subject search, you can use the title search, etc. And then you can use the remote to type in some informations, and somehow you can use the up right left time to set the information that you want. So this is called the India Wikipedia, and then let lots of the people, just if you have the TV, and then if you have the TV players, you can enjoy the educations, and the amount is huge, and then you can enjoy lots of the information, although the information is not up to date. Okay, because you that burn into a DVD, so there is a certain timestamp, and then after this certain timestamp, you cannot you cannot update your information, but it's still very useful to let lots of the women when they are staying in their home and then learn about the informations. And other possible ways for Africa or for India is if they do not have the TV, and if they do not have the DVD, so what should they do? So somehow, although they do not have the TV, or although they do not have the DVD, so somehow at least they have the telephone. Okay, they have the telephone. So what can you do? So you can use the voice-based social media. Okay, or voice-based Wikipedia. So somehow it's similar to your customer service of your credit card or bank service. Okay, so you dial the call, and then you wait for the answer, and then there are menu types. So if you want to select the service A, you press the 1, service B, you press 2, service C, you press 3, etc., etc., etc. And it can also include those speed recognitions. Okay, so later on we can show you a technologies about its latest technologies about the Google, about the natural language processing. So it's called dialogue fold. Okay, dialogue fold. So they can recognize the speech of the human and then generate the voice. Okay, so if this one is combined with the Wikipedia or with the other things, so the people in Africa or in India, we just need to find a server, install the latest technologies of Google, of the machine learning, of the AI, and then perform the NLP, perform the speech recognitions, and then we can let the country, the poor country, the people in the poor country, so or poor people in the country, okay, and they can enjoy the social media, and then they can enjoy the search by using the telephone, just a simple telephone. Okay, so they do not need any PC, they do not need any internet, and then still they can enjoy the information. Okay. And for the goals to promote, okay, or to say that the educations about AIDS or about the HIV or other educations of disease, ICT can help to do it. Okay, so they need to be educated so that they can escape from some disease, and then they can know the correct way to protect themselves. Okay, so ICT, whatever is using the telemedicine or tele-rehab. Okay, for example, telephones, or for example, the internet, they can receive the correct information. Okay, and then they can ask for help. Okay. So yeah, for this year, we will focus on the goal 7, ensure the environmental sustainability. So we will try to connect with the OFCA, to connect with the ocean part, and then they will provide the information about how the environments can be protected, how different animal, for example, this one hot crabs can be protected, and then you are going to analyze the information and then promote the information through the ICT tools, okay, through the Zoom, through the 360-degree videos, and then that you know what's going on, and then let the others know what's going on. You capture some information and then help the community to aware the environmental sustainability. So this year we will do for this topic. And don't think that your community project is useless. So as I explained, so in the very beginning, so if you have developed a good community project, so you can go for the two ways. The first is you find the funding, okay? You find the funding and then support your new idea or new project, okay? So today is easy. It's easy to get the funding from lots of the company or lots of the organization. For example, in PolyU, you have microfund, you have good seats to do some community project, and then it's easy to get maybe 10 or 50 thousand and then achieve your social project. And another, for the talking about this way first. So beside the Hong Kong level, so you can ask for the global levels, okay? So somehow EU, every year they have approved lots of counts by millions, okay? Counts by each project is counted by millions. They have approved lots of the project if you can solve the digital inclusions, okay? So for the digital inclusions, for example, you target on the visual impaired people. So we will talk about another example about the visual impaired people. Somehow they may not be blind, but they have lots of different problems. We'll discuss in the next lecture. Or hearing impaired people, they have some problem about their hearing, or some functional disability or cognitive disability, okay, or web accessibility or other accessibility, okay. So this is all about the digital inclusions and all about the social inclusions, and it's easy funded by the EU. But if you can care those people, it's easy to get a funding about millions, okay. This is one of the ways you can do it. Another way is today when you go to some big company, there are lots of commercial projects. There are lots of community projects. So if you think good social need, and then if you have a good model to measure your achievement, so somehow for example, Microsoft, right? So some of our graduates, they go to Microsoft, the first project that they need to do is some community project. For example, they care the environmental friendly, they care the quality of the tree, etc. Okay, so it's really promising, and then you can extend your work about your about your surface learning. Okay, so we would like to introduce one initiative called Be My Eyes. Okay, Be My Eyes. So this initiative is for the VIP, visual impairment people, or you can say it's blind people, but in fact, visual impaired people, they are not 100% blind. Okay, so somehow they are maybe weak in seeing, and then they have glaucoma or the other problems about their eyes. Okay, so whatever, they have some problem about their eyes. Okay, so for the ICT, of course, you can think lots of the way to help them. Okay, so you can use the computer vision. So later on, I will show in our paper, I will include in our videos how Microsoft use the computer visions, how Microsoft use the AI to recognize the object, okay, and then use the captions to talk what's going on, and then to explain the scene situations to the VIP peoples, okay, visually impaired peoples. But before we have the comparison, before we have the AI, so Be My Eyes is a good application. Okay, it's a good application. It's cloud sourcing applications, and then it's funded by the EU for the blind peoples to ask for assistance from the sighted user. Okay. So what's going on here? Let me explain a little bit. So today, all of we guys have the iPhone, right? So don't think that iPhone is the blind people cannot use the iPhone. In fact, near 80% or 90% of the blind people, they use the smartphone. And because the smartphone, they have lots of assistant tools. Okay, so they have voice over functions, and then they have lots of the functions. So even the blind people cannot see the retina display or cannot see the screen of the smartphone. The voice over or the computation power smartphone is really useful for to them, especially about GPS or the other community service. And I've I've met some blind people. One of the blind people he's high educated, and he used the smartphone to buy and sell the stock. Okay, so yeah, so you can immerse on a blind people and then earn the money, earn his living from the stock market by using a smartphone. It's really funny, right? Yeah, all of the blind people, they have the smartphone, and then nearly, I remember, 60 or 70% of the blind people, the model of the smartphone is using the Apple, not the Samsung. Because Apple, the assistant tools is better, is easier for the blind people to use. Okay, so whatever. So the smartphone, they have lots of the function, and the most important function is about the camera. Okay, it's about the camera or video conferencing. So what's going on in this lab? So the idea is really simple. They use the camera, they use the video conferencing to connect the blind people with the normal people. Okay, so when they need help, they just use the app and then call one of the volunteer. And one of the volunteer, if they receive the call, so they will turn on, both of the blind people will turn on the camera and then do the video conferencing, so that you can ask, so what is the color of the courses today, of my selected courses today, or what is the number of the bus coming, or why in the bus stop, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so this one is really funny, and we use for application. So without using really high technologies, right? And then they can achieve the needs and 100% achieve the needs of the blind people. In fact, I'm also one of the volunteer of this program. So, as I remember, up to now they have 2 million of volunteer, because it's easy. So we just install the apps, and then we just wait for the call. And then if someone is asking for your help, you just help the blind people, and then yeah, just answer some simple questions from them, and we help them to aware the dangers, or to help their daily life. Yes, and then yeah, other initiative, OLPC, one laptop per child. Okay, one laptop per child. So what is this meaning? That means that want to prepare some hardware together with the software, together with the content inside. Okay, so they prepare they have the keyboard, they have the mouse, they have the hard disk, and then they have all the information that they need for the children. They are fully embed inside the system. The target cost is US 100. Okay, so now is because the computer cost is really low, so can be achieved now, and then lots of the company, they start to join this laptop program and then provide this kind of hardware and software and education materials together for the children in the poor country or developed country. Yeah, and then for our school, we also have lots of external or international projects. For example, this one. So because it's not easy to connect the Wi-Fi to the village, and then connect the Wi-Fi to provide the Wi-Fi to provide the internet to the village. So somehow we have developed some package. Okay, we have developed some package together with the teaching and learning materials, and then send to the children in the developing country. So if you are interested in this one, so you can search for such project, surface learning project, international surface learning project. So you can find lots of this kind of solutions. And yeah, not only about the education, we can also use the ICT to handle about the transaction problem. For example, we can use the bot train. Okay, we can use the bot train, and then we can skip the middleman, and then help the service provider to direct contact with the service receiver. Okay, for example, if I'm the farmer in Bashir, or I'm the farmer in the Africa. I want to sell the coffee, etc. Right? So now I can directly sell to the end user. For example, end user in Hong Kong, and then all the certification and then all the transaction is handled by the blockchain. Okay, it's handled by the blockchain, and then we can skip the transaction fee of the banking, and then skip the transaction fee of all the middleman. Okay, so this video I will also put into our backbot and then let you have a look.